As much as I'm sure we will laugh at this story, as much as I'm sure we will trash talk the bad guy here, it's important to remember that there were, in fact, real life victims here too. And with all that being said, I'm going to enter into today's top story. A former United States Air Force airman who showed up to crime scenes with an AR-15 pled guilty to impersonating federal agents. Don't dress for the job you have, dress for the job you want, I guess. So we've got a 23-year-old Air Force veteran pled guilty Tuesday to impersonating a federal agent after admitting he'd made a traffic stop, offered to solve a crime, and even showed up armed to other crime scenes. Marlon de-adrain Priest from Valdosta, Georgia, is guilty of 2 counts of impersonating an officer and an employee of the United States and is facing up to 3 years in prison and a $250,000 fine for each count, and his sentence will be handed down in January. Wait till you hear the details of this. In April of last year, Priest, who had been discharged from the Air Force a little over a year earlier for misuse of a military credit card, what I'm thinking here, probably had his military travel card and went to the strip club for the food, you guys. He went to the strip club for the food, and he just made a few withdrawals for a few $1,000s. I mean, come on, leave him alone. This is something that we all kind of did at one point in time. He got kicked out for misusing his military credit card. He made a traffic stop, identified himself as an undercover federal agent at Moody Air Force Base. Imagine getting pulled over. This guy gets out. He's armed to the teeth. He's got his vest on. It probably says law enforcement or whatever. And he goes up and he goes, "I am an officer of the law. I'm here to solve your crimes. Any crime. You got a crime? Give it to me. I'll solve it." Priest was armed with a Glock pistol, wearing a bulletproof vest, and driving a vehicle with police lights and a public announcement system. How did he afford this? According to Evan Seago, maybe that's what he spent the money on with the credit card. According to Evan Seago, the individual who Priest pulled over, Priest called the stop into 911, identifying himself as an undercover agent. So this guy's so crazy, he actually called 911 as if he had some authority here. In August, he pretended to be a special agent of the Federal Bureau of Investigations, though that would not be the last time. In September 2020, the Moody Air Force Base Office of Special Investigations contacted the FBI to let them know about Priest, who had been impersonating an OSI agent. The Bremerton Police Department had tipped off the base after seeing Priest at crime scenes on a number of occasions. So this guy probably had a scanner, a police scanner, where you can, browse the frequencies. He finds out when the crimes are happening. He shows up armed, ready to solve the crimes, which it sounds at this point, okay? At this point, I know what you guys are thinking. It sounds silly. The guy, he got kicked out of the Air Force, but he wanted to be law enforcement. He wanted to be a rogue agent. He wanted to be Dog the Bounty Hunter or something. It says here, but it gets worse, okay? It says here, one time Priest, who was driving a white Chevrolet sedan with police lights, showed up at a crime scene of a shooting incident in a bulletproof vest with an AR-15. So now he's showing up to shootings where he could get hurt or hurt somebody else. When Bremerton Police Department investigator Carl Dudley met Priest at the scene, he was grateful to have what he thought was another law enforcement officer at what could have been a dangerous crime scene. Over time, Dudley became suspicious of Priest and decided to check in with the Moody Air Force Base Office of Special Investigations, the OSI, which reported that Priest was not one of their agents. In October of last year, Priest told a fraud victim he was an FBI agent and charged her $85 to take her case. Days later, he accused the victim of making false statements, threatened to press charges, and demanded another $150, which the victim paid. And here's where the story takes a dark turn. So he goes to a person who was a victim of fraud and then defrauds them. Now I'm ready to have this guy thrown in the brig, in the clink for a long time. He goes to a fraud victim. He claims to be an FBI agent and then says, "Yeah, I'll take your case for 85 buckarooskies." And then when he wants more money, he goes back and he strong arms or threatens her and says, "Give me another $150, which then they paid. And I've got another article here from justice.gov, which is the official Justice Department website, and it has some amplifying information about that case. So the victim gave him the $85. Days later, Priest accused the victim of lying to him about the case and threatened to press charges against her for criminal intent and fraudulent misconduct. So this person, again, is a victim of fraud who's currently getting defrauded and being accused of fraud themselves. How sick can one person be? So he says, if you don't give me more money, I'll put you in jail for fraud. Priest told the victim that she had made false statements and that he put his name on the line and gave her a discount. That he gave her a discount to get her case solved. Priest then told the victim he had to pay a $150 fine and threatened the victim that warrants were going to be taken out for her. The victim paid Priest the $150. So he's saying that he's like doing her a favor. This is predator tactics right here. You do victim blaming and shaming. This is just like what those call center scams do when they call your grandma or whatever trying to get her money. So a U.S. attorney, Peter Leary, said Priest created a false appearance of authority and power to scam and intimidate his victims, stressing that impersonating a federal agent is a serious crime that will not be tolerated. So this person is currently awaiting sentencing, and I hope that they get the book thrown at them. This is by far one of the craziest stories that I've seen in a long time. This guy is a no good, rotten, downright scoundrel, and he deserves the complete punishment of the law thrown at him, maximum time in jail, maximum fines awarded. And prior to that last bit, I would have said, okay, maybe he's just crazy. Nobody's really getting hurt, but he is putting himself and others at risk. And maybe he's just trying to pursue this weird dream of being a federal law enforcement officer or something like that. But no, now he crossed the line. Now he targeted a victim he targeted not his victim, he targeted a victim to victimize them. Somebody who was already being defrauded and then defrauded them. It doesn't get much sicker than that. So Priest, ironically that's your name, I hope you get maximum penalties awarded with no leniency from the law, and you're disgraced completely and face what would be probably over $1 million in fines, as well as years in jail with a year of supervised release. Not a Bravo Zulu, not a way to honor your Air Force legacy. Even after misusing your government travel card and getting kicked out, you could have tried to rebound your reputation, but instead you dragged yourself through the dirt, took advantage of some lady, and I have no sympathy for you at all whatsoever. That's the scuttlebutt on that. That's crazy. What's up, guys? Thanks for watching that clip from our live show. We're live right here on YouTube, Sunday through Thursday, 1800 Pacific Standard Time. If you want, come on by, join the chat. I'd love to hear from you. If you like that video and you want to see more, consider checking out this video right here or subscribing to the channel with this button right here. I look forward to talking to you really soon. I'm out for now.